Oh yeah, yeah. I have a cold, all that stuff. Fighting a head cold, but I gotta go on. This one I never expect is gonna happen, but here we are. Says here, I thought it was too. This was says here. Headline says ship hits Brooklyn Bridge. It is a quote. I thought it was a movie. Mexican ships collision with Brooklyn Bridge leave locals in disbelief. I just saw the video clip. I'm thinking, oh crap! It really happened, and two people was killed. In fact, like I said, it's on if I'm correct, you can see this on NBC News, other news outlets online and all that stuff, but it goes on to say here New York City residents witnessed plenty of shocking events in the city that never sleeps. No kidding, 9/11 is the big one right there. But a fatal crash by a Mexican Navy ship into the historic Brooklyn Bridge had left even the most hardened New Yorkers a bit stunned. I can only imagine. The ship's captain lost control due to mechanical issue, according to New York City Mayor Eric Adams, causing the naval training ship's tail mast to hit the bottom of the 122-year-old bridge connecting Brooklyn to Manhattan. Of the 277 naval crew and cadets aboard at the time, two were killed and another 22 was injured. Shortly after the crash Saturday night, videos of the collision made its rounds online, and hundreds of people flocked around the water to see the damage for themselves. Ishmael Alvarado lives on the Manhattan side of the Brooklyn Bridge and said his son started calling him to come take a look out the window as they heard some noise outside. I can only imagine. It must be something you can never forget. I thought it was a movie. I didn't know it was actually happening. He told NBC News on Sunday. After hearing about the two people who lost their lives, Alvarado wanted to see the ship in person to pay his respects. I feel sad and I feel for the families of the sailors that were there, Alvarado said. I'm a Marine Corps veteran myself, so I understand the people who serve. They're serving their country in Mexico, which I get that and respect that. Mexican authorities said that it was a naval ship was on a training cruise called the Bicentennial of the Consolidation of the Independence at Sea. It's meant to dock in New York for just a few days as part of a cultural exchange before setting out to Iceland to continue its journey. Okay. The cause of the collision is under investigation by the New York Police Department, the National Transportation Safety Board, and the Mexican government. So it's a bit of a mess. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo thanked Adams for support to her country's nationals and assured the Mexican Navy was caring for his wounded. Okay. We are very sorry to hear the death of two crew members of the Buc Escuela. I'm not going to try to pronounce the last one, who lost their lives in a regrettable accident in the port of New York. Pardo wrote on X. Our solidarity and support for the families. Teresa Lee came to see the ship Sunday along with her two dogs. When she first saw the video on the crash, Lee said she thought it was a fabrication generated by artificial intelligence. I can imagine that. Until you came and saw it for yourself, it's like, whoa, this is for real. And this is what she said. I didn't think it was a real thing that was occurring, Lee said. She added that the crash seemed to be occurring like in slow motion. It was like the masts were breaking slowly and it was going backwards. Lorene Smith was returning to the area from dinner in Manhattan on Saturday night and rushed back home to see the ship after getting a text about the shocking news from her family. Normally, what we see is ferries that go back and forth, or like cargo ships with containers on them, but not big ships like this, Smith said. Never seen one like this before. Smith said she immediately felt concerned for the people on board. I just couldn't believe it. Like, why? Smith said. How could they possibly miss that and couldn't fit they couldn't fit underneath the Brooklyn Bridge? I agree. But they said it's a mechanical error that caused that problem. Zach Escol, the city's emergency management commissioner, called the collision heartbreaking, not just because of loss of life, but because of how the deaths had impacted the crew. Reports on what happened remain preliminary, Escol says. Ship is moving from Seaport to Bay Ridge in South Brooklyn to anchor and refuel when the crash happened. Something happened during that movement where the ship reportedly lost power, lost steerage, and that's when, because of the current it looks like. It ended up under the Brooklyn Bridge, Isco says. And that's where the tragedy occurred with the mass. The people was gathered all around the shoreline on the warm side of the night. Many viewed the wreckage as paramedics and divers aided those on board. Andrew Schiff, a New Yorker who takes part of the local sailor club, said he was at a jazz concert in the area where he saw the ship about 10 minutes after it crashed. I thought it was some kind of a movie set or something, Schiff says. Schiff noted that he experienced navigating the Hudson and called the power of the currents around the bridge very significant. So the currents were nothing to joke with if you're sailing around the area. Schiff noted that he had experienced navigating the Hudson River and called the power of the currents very significant. I mean, sometimes the East River flows out of the ocean 2 or 3 knots, which is pretty strong currents, he says. He added the boats trying to navigate the waters require a lot of engine power to help keep their ships in control. The ferries have it, but if you don't have it, you have a sailing ship with not a lot of engine power. It could toss you around, Schiff says. Yeah, this article was originally processed in NBCnews.com. So if anybody have any who's seen it for yourself, like I actually folks says, were you actually there when this happened? Let me know in the comments down below if you were there. Other than that, folks, that's kind of sad. My condolences for those who lost their lives in that accident. And like I said, anybody who's seen it, please let me know. Hope to hear from you. Peace.